Okay, welcome back guys to another video of Shape of Dreams. So as most of you may already know, it's one of my favourite games this year so far, and I've been lucky enough to play both co-op and solo. It's a great game either way, and what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into one of my favourite characters. My favourite character at the moment is Bismuth, and we are literally going to go through a how-to guide on Bismuth. I've got over 40 hours plus in the game so far. I don't know whether that's a lot or a little, but just trust me a little bit because what I'm doing is actually working. Alright, what I'll do is I'm going to dream alone and see if this affects anything from the starting, which it doesn't here, apart from you've got your difficulty set and your lucid dreams there, but you haven't got like the invite panel from up here. The last character I played was Mist, but I'm just going to move over to my favorite one, which is Bismuth here. So I'm level 48 on Bismuth. She is an easy character. I'm a bit of a simple guy. I enjoy easy, quick things and just having a little bit of fun at the same time. If you're not already aware, this is kind of like a tech tree, as they call it, but in this one they've called it memories and constellations. So some of you may be familiar with how these sort of things work. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it and open it up first, because if you have started to unlock quite a lot of levels in the game, you'll notice that roughly around 30 or 35 you'll start maxing out your character's sort of abilities, and you can start applying character specific abilities, or you can start applying just the common ones. Now the common ones that you purchase is purchased all around, so all sort of characters can use them, but the character specific are, as they say, character specific, and not all of these points on the tree are accessible. Some have shorter trees, some have longer trees, some have more bulkier trees, for example, and you can keep going through them, and it depends on how you want to play your character, because you can have different sort of settings on there. Now I'm going to quickly dive into what I've got set up here. Bismuth, she looks like a mage. She is a mage. However, what I am going to do is I'm actually going to convert her to a attack damage rather than ability power, which is a little bit absurd, I suppose. However, hear me out. So the first thing you'd want to do is, if you do want to play her for ability damage, is use the Valiant Heart. Now Valiant Heart is absolutely exceptional because you deal 300% attack damage, and you also then increase your movement speed. During the process, you can also gain a barrier equal to 40% of the damage dealt, and that lasts for 2.5 seconds. So just bear in mind that if you are doing a boss, you want to try and attack the boss as much as you can, because the more times that you attack the boss, the more barrier that you get. The only one that it really affects is the boss at the end, so trying to get a little bit of health as you go through it is a bonus, but I'll show you how to sort of level everything up as we go as well. Yeah, so if you have that selected as a Q and you are, that'll be your just main abilities, and I just recommend leveling up those as you go through, because the bonuses that you can get is insane. Now, I don't really change any of these. In fact, you can't actually change this on Bismuth at all, and the sprint you can't really change either. You can change how it works, but you can't change the actual sprint itself, or the dodge, depending on how you want to call it. One of the best functions and features that she has on her star and constellation tree is this one here. Now I recommend attaching this as soon as you can. So the Book of Knowledge, it's if you level it up to max, basically you either gain 1 to 4 books of knowledge for every boss that you defeat. So this is mini bosses, big bosses, any boss or anything classed as a boss, you will get these additional books of knowledge that will power you up, basically. So each book grants a random stat equivalent to a common grade chaos of 25%. So it's kind of like gaining chaoses, but you also gain chaos at the same time as well. So just bear in mind, this is leveled up all the way. It's leveled up to 25%. So the start you can get 15, then next 20, then next 25%. So you'll see quite a few of these drop, and I'll point them out as we go through. But that's key in sort of upgrading Bismuth as we play, because it'll upgrade everything as we go along, and it is massive help. In fact, that's probably what makes this character as easy as she is. And then all you pretty much want to do is just make sure that your attack speed's up and your attack damage is up. Attack speed will only affect your passive, which is the book, but whilst you've got your passive active, your passive's great in the short term. and then you can just level it up slightly then to help you out later game. But effectively, you wouldn't need that once your attack damage is so high anyway, because you're going to be using your Q and R, which has 2 charges each. If you get a charge boost, you can have a third one on, so you can have 3 charges on one, or 4 charges, depends what your essence is that you level up. And then we've got just some extras that you can take a look at. So we've got a good material, which increases the amount of dream dust. You've got the additional chaos, so you get 20% chance to gain additional chaos, which is very, very good as well. So you just want to passively start building this character up as you go along. Acquire a random level 4 memory at the start of adventure. That's always advantageous. It's not necessarily something I need now, being later on in the game. However, if you use this, then you can actually sell it just for some essence, so it just gives you a little bit of dream dust back to collect some essences or some different sort of abilities that you can use. I've popped on the black market, so you gain 3 platinum coins just in case you want to find those specific essences or specific sort of memories, so that you can attach them to Bismuth and make her more incredible, in a sense. So we've got wealth accumulation as well to increase the gold. The reason why I do that is just because sometimes it can be a bit scarce. And then secret diary, so whenever you start your adventure with the Our Story essence, its quality increases 50% every time you defeat 75 enemies. So you don't know what memory you're going to get from this, so you just have Our Story. It will be an essence that you can tie to a memory, and it will level up throughout the game. And then as soon as it gets to 500%, it will then unlock a major ability, and it's just, sorry, not a major ability, but a major essence in which buffs you. So I do recommend having that on as well. You just want to constantly try and buff yourself all the way through. And then all I've done is I've just attached all 3 of the flexible marks to the Q and the R abilities. So basically, Valiant Heart now fully restored all charges at once. Valiant Heart's cooldown is increased by 1 second, but you gain a barrier equal to 40% of the damage dealt. That lasts for 2.5 seconds, which is what we've added on. And then Quick Decision, using Distorting Sprint resets the cooldown of Valiant Heart. So what I was on about earlier, with this Traveler Memory, you only get the additional 40% barrier when you have that selected just there. So that's why that's crucial to have that on there when you're trying to do this build, especially when you just want to try and tank it all and just go sort of straight in, because you can do damage and you can also be extremely tanky. And as I said earlier, when you're using any of the destruction constellations, you just want to try and choose anything that's attack damage or attack speed just to buff you out. And then for anything that's on the life section, reduce dodge your cooldown, because every time you use your dodge, you'll restore your Valiant Heart, which is your Q and your R. Distorting Sprint no longer dashes, but gains 2 additional maximum charges, so you can use this. It just helps you sort of move around. The only thing is that I found it very, very difficult when you do want to move quickly away from something. You lose that dash, but in this scenario, I'm gaining additional sort of barrier, so it shouldn't matter too much to me as long as I can sort of move quickly around the map. So I've got an additional 2 charges. And then increase healing and barrier amounts by 18%, because you've already got 40% of your damage, so why not increase it by a further 18%? So technically you've got 58% barrier each time you attack with your Q or your R. So you are significantly buffed as a character. This has been useful for you guys. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button or subscribe, that'd be great. But if you've also got any feedback for me, if you can just leave any alterations just in the comments below, and I'll take a look.